Fun Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
To start off the new year, we're going to cover the newest Dreamwork series, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power.
This Netflix show is a reboot of the 80s spinoff to He-Man, She-Ra, Princess of Power. This time around, Adora, who works for the evil Emperor Hodak and the Horde, finds one of the swords of Grayskull and becomes She-Ra. She uses a new power to fight back the Horde with the help of Princess Glimmer and her friend Bow.
Mm-hmm. And the original series for both He-Man and She-Ra are both available on Netflix. So if you like to see the original shows before seeing the reboot, you can see what was made first and then what was changed in this new one.
Right. And yes, I did originally watch He-Man and She-Ra when I was young. So, first thing I told you, the first episode we watched it, Bow is going to be the favorite character.
Right.
Okay, so what was your first impression when you saw She-Ra?
I was a little surprised. I knew they were gonna attempt to do it in the essence of Voltron or try to really make it not really modern day, but to where the writing standpoint now for a lot of shows today from any network has just gone beyond what the original has done. So in here they kind of did a little mixture. It's still the same plot as the original, but there's more to it than just fighting back evil with the sword. Because the original just had original She-Ra was just a spin-off of He-Man.
Yes, it was.
And, and He-Man was the reason, he found Adora, and then it led to her, find out the Horde was evil, and she wanted to fight back. But in this one, they confirmed long before that He-Man was not going to be in this show. Right. So either they rewrote it to where they're no longer long-lost siblings, or maybe they're saving He-Man for his own reboot.
At all, possibly.
Grayskull exists, but not He-Man, which it was pretty confusing to a lot of fans, but they just went with it.
Yeah, it was confusing to me. And I didn't see how it was going to work, but they made it work. Now, when I look at this poster, this official poster that you're looking at, guys, to me it looks like part Star Wars on the left, part Star versus the Forces of Evil in the middle, and part Voltron on the right.
Right. They combine all these popular things together or with it.
Right.
And plus, also when it came out, they announced it. They show what the new She-Ra would look like, and she's not an adult here. She's like maybe 15 or 16. So, like you said, around Star's age. So they made her younger, and people were kind of divided on how she looks. I mean, does it look better? Does it look worse?
Well,
it looked fine to me, honestly.
It looks fine, but I think when they originally made He-Man and She-Ra, Masters of the Universe, period. And we actually saw this documentary on the making of it. The original concept for those characters were to make characters that looked powerful, that were strong, that could control, that gave kids a positive image, that they had the power in their hands to control how they played and what they liked and what they wanted to see. So they made He-Man really strong and buff. They made She-Ra pretty, but she was strong. And she's as strong as her brother, and just as equal. This time around, it's a whole different time frame. It's decades later. And we already know women are capable, women are strong, women are equal. Men can be accommodating and respectful of women. So all of that's already out there. So it looks like to me that they were going for a younger audience deliberately, possibly a preteen or teen audience. Back when this original was done in the 80s, you had the adult characters. The target audience was little children. I mean, really small kids. And there wasn't a distinction between making characters that were younger so the audience would like them versus adults. And that particular franchise was originally geared toward the selling of merchandise. They wanted the kids to buy these strong He-Man dolls and these strong She-Ra dolls, and they wanted all the Castle Grayskull, all these different figures,
the entire planet,
everything to sell. So now I don't, it doesn't look to me like merchandising is the main goal. It's to get a really strong fan base and a really broad fan base. Although watching it, I think for this time around, there's going to be more preteens and teens liking it than adults. And that's because for the original series, of course, it came out in the 80s, your kids, and the kids that grew up watching this now will watch She-Ra, Princesses of Power like me, to see what can I get from it, or how did they do in rebranding this franchise?
Because we also learned that Mattel was not doing any toys for the reboot.
Right.
So maybe they're seeing how it works out before they launch toys, just like Voltron did. Wait to see how much popularity it gets before they put in the money for it, or else they waste it and no toy sell.
Right, because when we were looking at that documentary, it seemed like it was just throw it all in and see what works.
Right.
They didn't wait to see, as you said, what characters were popular or what they needed, what focus groups. They just said, hey, every villain that appears, every character, everything on here needs a toy.
Right.
So.
And in here, it looks like they were originally just going to do one season. But now they said they have 4 arcs of 13. So it looks like maybe they plan this 4 seasons. I'm about to say 14 seasons. And they're using traditional animation instead of CGI or like these other shows. So it's done in almost 2D format, minus when they do some of the machinery and they do it and it's like a blend of CGI. And
I think that one thing that's really good about it is they stayed true to the original series and covering a large range of topics. Because when you watch the original He-Man, as you mentioned, there were topics covered, not strongly, but they were covered. And sometimes the lesson at the end didn't even match up with the episode.
No.
But they made an attempt to cover it. In this one, not only do they cover a wide range of topics and issues, but they make sure you are fully aware of what it is that they are covering for the episode.
Right. Plus, the characters in here, they have a wide range of characters. And, of course, you know, the princesses you know in the original are now teenagers.
Right.
And one was even, like, 12. So they're really going for, young and powerful princesses in this version. And everyone has a very unique, distinctive personality. It's just the names that you got to get over. Because we thought originally, okay, did they just throw this in here? Like, no. The original names are exactly the same. There really is an Adora, a Catra, a She-Ra, a Mermista, and Frostos, Spinnerella. It's like, stop them! But it's just like it goes on and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess they never changed. And then you got Bow, and then you get Glimmer and Bow. It's like, what happened there?
You see why Glimmer's name Glimmer, and you see why Bow's name Bow.
Right.
It couldn't go Boa. And it couldn't go Glimmer.
Like, wait a minute. And, before we get to more of the characters for the story, it was a little surprise. We did expect them to go a little darker because nowadays people want, action cartoons still. And it seems like Dreamwork is starting to bring that back.
Right.
Starting up with Troll Hunters and Voltron. We are getting action cartoons again. Thank you. And in here, they kind of set up, how she's living in this land. She thinks the Horde are the good guys.
With her outfit reminiscent of Keith.
Right. And and princesses are seen as evil beings. It's like, where you look at them, are you sure they're evil? I mean, I know she has to learn that this is a lie, but kind of look at some of them.
But remember, she was raised by them.
Right.
So this is what she was taught. And what you're taught is what you'll believe until your attitudinal prism is widened, until you explore more of the world and you learn there's more out there.
Right.
That's all she knew. So of course, she was, fight the princesses, defeat the princesses. They're evil.
Yeah. And then remember Bo told her, like, no, you telling me you don't know and you're working for the evil Horde? Evil? Who calls us that? Everybody calls you that.
So,
and then for the characters, already not everybody has a fan base, but a lot of them are picking up speed. But it seems like the main ones that are really popular just now, and this can change in the future with more episodes, more development, is Adora and Catra. This seems to be a big highlight for many fans.
And I think that a lot of that, for the ones that are because of shipping.
Exactly.
Not so much because of the characters themselves. The one I would say that is Catra.
Yes.
Based on what you were telling me.
Yes, because when I looked online, because She-Ra came out in November. By the time we got to the show, it was like near the end of November, and already there was speed. And like you said, Bo may end up being the favorite later on because of his personality.
Right. He's my favorite. He's just so positive. He's upbeat. He's diplomatic. He's cooperative. They made him with his cute outfit. And I don't want to say non-threatening because you can see he can get riled up and really fight. It's not that, it's just he seems
innocence.
to be... He has an innocence, but he seems to be willing to do whatever it takes to make everything work out for everyone, if at all possible.
Right.
And only when he doesn't see that not being able to happen, then he fights.
Right. And then for Adora and Catra, it seems like they're really interested in the relation, whether it's for platonic or romantic. Now, they did state that there was going to be some representation in the show,
right.
and they are the main part of it, so people were really for this. Right. And Catra's character has become just incredibly interesting to many people, even saying it's like one of the best anti-hero stories since Zuko. Just for me, it was hard to see it because I'm still new to this show. Maybe after a rewatch and we see more of the episode, maybe we'll see more of it. They did handle her differently than expected, though, compared to other characters. Go ahead before
I was going to say, I don't see that. When I'm watching a new show, I'm not looking to see whom the character resembles or is like. Sometimes you see these similarities, but there's no similarity between Catra and Zuko.
Not
because for Zuko, the minute he came on the scene and you first saw him in the first actions when he had honor. He was trying to get honor back, but you saw he had honor. She said, Aang said, if I go with you, will you leave them alone? Yes, he did. So you knew then there was good in him, and he had honor. I'm sorry, with Catra, you keep thinking maybe there's something good in her, but in every episode that she appeared up until that final one, she just got worse and worse. There is no redeeming quality at this point for Catra. There may be a redemption arc later, but I say because of that, she doesn't resemble Zuko at all. Because Zuko, you knew there was good in him from the beginning.
Right.
And you liked him somehow, even though you knew he was supposed to be the bad guy. Catra, at first you liked her, but the longer they stayed on her character and the more she betrayed Adora and other people, the more you began to go, there's no depths that she will not stoop to.
Exactly.
And that's what makes her not likable in the sense that Zuko was likable. She's a whole different character.
Right.
So I think she should be liked and looked at for the character she is.
Exactly.
Not comparing her to Zuko.
Yeah, and even there, the series emphasizes necessity of taking action by one's prior circumstances. And for her character, she wanted to be, taken seriously and empowered no matter what, because we had seen the backstory with both of them prior to Adora leaving, becoming She-Ra, of how they grew up. So in one stance, you can understand how she became this, but another point is like she chose to just keep going down this way and thinking this is the best choice for her and just flat betraying her own friend.
A couple points I want to make. As you said, first of all, this executive producer and creator is Noelle Stevenson and writer for this one. She has represented herself as being lesbian, and as you mentioned, they noted that there will be representation in the show.
Yes.
So that's a first because that didn't happen in the original. So that's a first for this franchise. Also, you've got some real good character actors for the voices. Lorraine Toussaint is a well-known actress who has been in lots of hit shows. You got Marcus Schreibner, who's in Blackish and plays the oldest son. He's hilarious. In that show, he always plays dim-witted. But in here, his voice and the innocence that comes through and the strength is perfect for this character. Then you've got some people, Amy Carrero, Karen Fukuhara,
AJ, what's her name?
Resh Machete, AJ Machalka.
Thank you.
So you've got some really strong females voicing and backing the characters where the acting is varied and colored in their presentation. And the last thing I want to mention is this is also groundbreaking because unlike Star Wars, you have Darren Nefsey, who's the writer and who does the storyboards and everything, and is female, created by a female, which is awesome. Not only was this recreated and rebooted by a female, the majority of the cast is female, voice acting is female, the workers are female, producers.
Yeah, it's a predominantly female cast.
And it's awesome and terrific, and I can't wait to see what this brings to the table in terms of future animation and being, I will say female-led. I don't want to say dominated because that doesn't sound right. Being, I'll say, spearheaded and run by females.
Right. And one more thing I want to add is the fact that DreamWorks, has been having a lot of great animated series recently that weren't just spin-offs of existing movies. Starting with Troll Hunters, remember how big that became, and then just led to, 2 more series.
Right.
DreamWorks has been really pushing She-Ra quite a bit, because after Troll Hunters, they have Voltron, and after Voltron, then they got She-Ra. And it looks like after the massive phenomenon of Voltron, they will want... Now, this wasn't stated, but it's kind of clear in their actions. They want She-Ra to be the next Voltron, which is impossible because She-Ra's a whole different show, whole different adaptation. Both were based off 80 series, but She-Ra has a whole different goal going on with its story and its audience. It wants to do it its own way.
You've got like a fan base that spans all ages across the board. And it ended up being a whole lot of adults. For some reason, they didn't expect it, but you should have, since it was a reboot. And all of us that watched it as kids, of course, we're going to watch it again. Plus, you got the new adults, the new kids. You got grandparents watching with the kids. There's a whole broad range in the fandom. As you mentioned, in this one, there seems to be a target audience that's preteens and teens. And if that's your target audience, you may have some of the adults, like myself, who watch He-Man and She-Ra originally. But you're not going to have a lot of adults now that are going to say, hey, let me tune into this show and see what it's about, because your target is teens and preteens. So maybe it will be. Like you, I don't feel it will be. But you also need to judge this show based on its merits, and people should not be judging it against Voltron.
Right.
They're 2 different shows, 2 different concepts, 2 different animals with both with their strengths and weaknesses.
Especially its villains too, like with Hodak, Shadow Weaver, and they also introduced lots of new people if they weren't the originals to adapt with this new show.
So let's wait and see what She-Ra has to offer. If you haven't seen the first season, as Rascal said, it's available on Netflix. Binge watch it. And stay tuned for season 2 so we can see where it goes. One thing you didn't mention, who is your favorite character in the show?
Oh, I don't have one yet. It's only been 13 episodes. But it might be Bo, like you said, just because of his personality and how he is. And they got other characters introduced later.
Right.
But
and there's some pretty cool princesses.
Yeah.
Some of them are really cool with the powers and their attitudes and their strengths. So if you've seen this show, let us know in the comments what you love about it, whom your favorite character is. If you haven't seen it and you don't plan on watching it, let us know what would make you interested in seeing this type of show in the comments below as well.
Right. So thank you for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
For the honor of Grayskull.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the form of a locket.